License to Kill is sponsored by Sterifab and Pest Patrol. Sterifab delivers clean kills with a single spray, disinfect and eliminate pests instantly. And a special thanks to Pest Patrol, supporting our mission to make LTK agents the best in the field.
Hi, I'm Marcus, and welcome to the License to Kill podcast, where pest control professionals meet cutting-edge expertise, industry insights, and a whole lot of camaraderie. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting your journey as a PMP, this podcast dives into everything that makes our industry tick. From advanced techniques and groundbreaking products to hilarious field stories and the real talk about the challenges we face in our industry. Join us as we explore the science, art, and community behind pest control, celebrating the people who work tirelessly to keep our world safe, healthy, and pest-free. As always, stay sharp, stay connected, stay legendary. Let's start the show.
Thank you for joining and tuning in. We got Maria Sorrentino with us today. We're going to be talking to her a little bit about her consulting group as well as her business, Pest Pros of Michigan, and the things that she's been doing lately, the goals that she's been accomplishing, and some of the waves that she's been making in the pest control industry. So, Miss Maria, say hi. Welcome to our audience here.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. So, how did you get into pest control?
It's always the question when you're female in the pest control industry is like, how did this happen?
Right.
I had a friend years ago who owned a pest control company. I was waiting tables and going to school for social work, and he was looking for somebody to come work in his office. And he was like, "Oh, you should come. It'll just be part-time," and I always say that's the biggest lie in pest control. It's never part-time.
Never.
And so very quickly I started working in the office, and over time went out into the field and then became the ops manager and just kind of went from there.
So how long were you working behind the scenes before you actually started getting into the field?
I worked 1 year in the office, and I got licensed because I thought it would help me on the phones. I just was like, oh, it'd be nice to be licensed. I can help answer questions. And then we had a guy who was in the military, and he got drafted or whatever, and all of a sudden we were like in August, and he was going to be gone for like 8 weeks. And my boss looks at me and goes, "You're licensed." And I was like,
out you go.
Okay. Yeah.
So, okay, tell me a little bit about that first day. Was it icky and gross and full of rat poop and everything that horrible, or did you get out into the field, you got a taste of it, and you just realized that this is it, this is the thing for me?
It's so funny because of this story is so comical. So I was driving my black convertible, and I took a magnet and stuck it on it, and I had the top down, and I put a backpack in the back seat. I had zero training, and I went out to my first carpenter ant job, and I called my boss and I said, "I think this is carpenter ants." And he said, "Do you have some Termidor?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, go spray it." And that's how.
That was the start. You got you one good spray in, and you were like, "Wow, this is it." No,
Yeah.
I honestly I love pest control because people tend to, they don't make it the first year, like they just, it's not, they're not cut out, or they get one little taste of it and they're like, this is it, I'm in for life.
Yeah, exactly. And the first bed bug job, because back then, like bed bugs were like a kind of a new thing, and we were learning and all that type of stuff. And so I was so shocked that you would like go into somebody's house and flip all their stuff over and leave it like that. Like, because I just had no awareness when I was on the phone. I never told people that. Like, I didn't know. And the first bed bug job I went on, I was like, we should be telling people. Like, we should be telling people
That's
that like this is what we're doing, and you're gonna come back and it's gonna look like
And your whole house is going to be in disarray. Yeah, actually, that's a really good takeaway. You're right. Most companies don't. I know that we don't really inform the customer of that, and it is kind of a telltale sign that we do as technicians to leave everything lifted up. Lets the customer know that we got into all the stuff. We treated all the pieces of furniture. But I'm sure that's also very disorienting. You come in, and you're like, why is my whole house turned upside down?
Exactly. Yeah, just those were the things that I remember just being the most like, oh, I guess that makes sense, but yeah, that's a little weird, you know? So
So how long were you a technician and working in the field at that company? Was that something you did for a pretty long period of time, or?
I was I was there for a total of 5 years. So the
Yeah.
first year in the office, I was a technician, I think, for another year or so, and then, um, well, funny story. When I interviewed at that company, and he was like, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" I was like, "Well, I'm going to be running this company, right?" Like, and
Mm.
within 5 years, I was definitely, that's what I was doing, right? And so I've always kind of had that ambition to grow and learn and develop. And so, yeah, so I was there for 5 years, and I'm sure everybody knows, like, it's difficult to work with people sometimes, like,
Yes.
and relationships are hard, and especially when you get into like opinions and you have different things. And so it just got to a point where we weren't seeing eye to eye, and I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go. And so yeah, it was very interesting.
So when was this? Like 2017, 2018 time frame, something like that?
I started Pest Pros in 2018, so it must have been like 2017, because I took a year off in between. I went and worked for Target Specialty Products and
Oh,
sold
okay.
pesticides in between when I wrote the business plan for Pest Pros. And so like that was like a godly thing, because I met so many amazing people and then learned all about all these
Yep.
other products I'd never heard of.
So, okay, let's talk about that for a moment because you made this business plan, and whatever it was, it must have been incredibly successful because you guys started in, you said 2018. How many trucks do you guys have on the road now?
Oh my goodness. We have 20 total people. I think trucks on the road is 12.
That's
So, yeah.
incredible. That's an
Yeah.
incredible amount of rapid growth. So something about your business plan must have been correct. Something about your business plan must have been the right thing. So what was? I mean, don't give away your secret sauce, obviously, if it's something
I
proprietary.
don't care.
But
Yeah.
what was the thing that you really felt like that made yours different? Right. What was the thing that you were really that I mean helped propel you to have so much success?
Well, a couple of things. So, I wasn't alone. I have a partner who is the financial side of my business. He was a home inspector, and he kept like kind of poking me all along, being like, "You and I are going to work together someday. Like, we're going to do something." And I would just be like, "Yeah, yeah." And so when I left from my other company, I called him and I said, "Are you serious? Like, like, is this a serious thing? Are you serious?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm dead serious. Like, I'm dead serious." So I was like, okay, well, I just quit. I don't have a plan. So like, let's talk. And so we like met up for dinner a couple weeks, later, and started talking. And he was like, well, I'll put up the money if you do the work, right? And so that's kind of how we functioned initially. And like I said, I wrote the plan, and I knew, because I was in the same market as the prior company that I worked for, I knew that we were going to have to like come in heavy, right? And
Right.
so I hired two technicians before I ever opened the doors.
Oh,
Um,
I was
yeah,
just about
which
to
is
ask that.
wild to
Were
think
you a
about
solo
now.
dolo for a while? No, you said you right out the gate. You had two people.
Because I knew that I didn't want to be a technician, right? Like, I knew, like, nothing wrong with technicians. Obviously, I was a technician. I just knew that, like, I wanted to be on the business side. And so I ran the office, and I hired two technicians to work in the field. Happened to be that one of those technicians was from the company that I was at prior. So he ran the field side, and then I ran the office and business side. We spent way too much money that first year on marketing. It was crazy. We were everywhere. We did all the things. And then I went to every single networking event in my town. Like, I just, like, every single night, I was like, I was at some kind of weird function, like meeting people. and
Town
uh
hall or
and
like
I
a
really
little
think that
chamber
was the
thing or something.
oh my goodness, like every single thing. Because back then, before COVID, this was a bigger thing. Like,
Right.
it was a much bigger. Like, now I don't network at all really anymore. But like, it's like, I don't think most people do. I don't think that it's as popular as it was like 6 years ago or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely, and it's changed. I think even kind of that's where the license to kill thing comes in, right? Is it's like, we're doing it, but we're doing it online. We kind of have the, the video game
Yes.
space and stuff. It's kind of that evolution, like you said. Like once COVID hit, it changed things, and you have to
Yes.
adapt. So okay, so what you said, you spent a little bit too much on marketing, or way too much on marketing that first year. So what was more fruitful then for you? Do you feel like getting out there, meeting the people, shaking the hands, the smaller kind of like one-on-one type stuff, or the marketing stuff that was just mass communication? Do you feel like that helped you out? I mean, you said spent too much, so was it not as, did you not get your ROI on that?
I think I did. It just like thinking back, I'm just like that was super crazy. Again, you know what it is like when you first start out, you're just so naive that you don't know that like I didn't know that maybe there was anything to be nervous about, right? Like I was just like, we're doing this, like this is happening. And now I look back when people, when I talk to people and stuff, and they're like, well, you hired two people before you started. You spent all that money on marketing. I'm like, oh, is that weird? I don't know. Like, I don't know.
We
I
were
just was
crazy
like,
and we enjoyed it, yeah.
I don't know. We were just having fun. And so now looking back, it's like, I had to try all these things because I didn't know what would work, And so like now all these years in, it's like pretty much there's two things that I invest in for marketing today, and it's like Google and
Yeah.
referrals. And
Yep.
like that's pretty much it. But like in the early days, it was like I was doing coupon magazines and radio and TV commercials and like just all like everybody who came in my office, and this was different back then because people would stop in to sell you things because we were like a new business and people would
Right.
stop in all the time. And since COVID, nobody really does that anymore where they just drop in. But at that time, people dropped in and I'm the only one there. So like they have like FaceTime with the decision maker, like just for stopping in. And I didn't really have like boundaries or something. So like they would be like, do you want to do this? And I'd be like, yeah. Do you want to do this? Yeah. And I would just, try things. Weirdly, that was really successful because I figured out two things. Number one, it's like building trust. Because what do they say? They used to say you had to see something 7 times, and now I think it's like 100 or something. Like it's like a crazy amount of times that you have to see something to build trust. And
Right.
back then, it's like it would be like, I saw your truck, I saw you in the coupon magazine, I heard you on the radio, I saw you on TV. So it was like a really fast way of kind of like enamoring people, and then they would meet me in person because I'd be out. So it was like I think all those things were really like like holistic in that being successful, if that makes sense.
So if you, I know that obviously things have changed since, like you said, post COVID, before COVID and stuff. But if there was, to aspiring people who are trying to launch their business or hoping to get into their first year as, owner operator, what would you feel like were the key lesson learned, like a hard lesson learned, like a bad one, and then like one good lesson learned that you took after that very first year?
Yeah, so the first year, okay. I'll start with the bad and then I can end with the good, right?
That's right. Say what you.
um, and this is pros and cons. I hired all friends initially, and those relationships were really hard and didn't work out the first year. So those learning that like starting business with people, and again, like I said, relationships are challenging, and there's a lot of stress when you're starting a new business, and so that would be the cautionary tale, right? Of like I may have done that different because I lost some really good friendships through that.
Yeah.
And then on the positive side, I had it and it just escaped me. Um, is I would say wrapping your trucks day one, like the most important thing that you absolutely can do is like wrap them and have them be extreme. Like have
Yeah.
them be like
Bold.
really like billboards stand out, because we had two trucks at that time and people would be like, I see your trucks everywhere, and I would just laugh to myself because I'm like, I only have two. you know?
We're just bebopping around everywhere. That's all it is. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
So okay, so that was the first year, but then did you just keep the two trucks for the first year, or when did you really start to see that growth, that transition from two trucks to 15 trucks? How did that? Was that
Yeah.
slow and gradual? Was that all at one time?
No, it was definitely not slow and gradual. We had 3 trucks by the end of year one. Um, we bought a fourth, I think, by the end of year two. So it was like, it was really rapid because we went from zero to like almost 200K the first year. So again, like I kind of joke because I'm like, I spent almost as much as on marketing that year as we made, right? Like that's how crazy that was. And so, but again, it worked, like we had it. But again, if you think about 4 people making 200K, eh, you know, that's questionable. And so we had a decent year, and then in year two, I think we were up to um like 400 or something. We were at 1 million by year four.
A million
So
by four
basically,
years. Wow.
yep. So like, and by the time we were there, I think there were like 6 or 8 of us. So like in that 4 year span, like we were doing 100% growth for multiple years those first
Year
few
over
years.
year. So okay, so what do you feel like was the thing that, like, which service propelled you into
I'm
that
missing
kind
you.
of growth?
Can't hear you.
Oh,
Sorry.
oh, oh, am I lagging out? Can you hear me?
Now I can. Yep.
Okay. What do you feel like? Which service was it that propelled you on that 100% year over year growth? Was it just general pest control? Did you open up new revenue streams? You got into remediation and exclusion work, or what was the do you feel like helped to keep that momentum just year after year after year like that?
Yeah, it started out with general pest control, and we did termite at that time. Like I said, my business partner's a home inspector, so he would feed us pest inspections. So we did, so that was like an automatic revenue stream that we did have, was doing the pest inspections off of those, and then we did a lot of general pest, and then we got into the termite stuff, and we tried wildlife the first time in year one. Whew, man, like, ooh, and because what happens when we're in Michigan, and so like as you start to get closer to winter, you start like kind of panicking, right? Like, oh, this pest control and termite is gonna go away,
Right,
you
right.
know?
Feast or famine. Right, entering the famine season.
And so again, I like, and again, I'm like just super, super entrepreneurial and risky. So like we invested all this money in like the fall to launch a wildlife program because again, I'm naive and I'm just like, how hard can it be? Like we'll just go out and trap animals, and I sent my guys to Nicoa, and like they came back, they went to the zoonotics class and they came back totally freaked out, and like I had to get them rabies shots and like full body gear and like all it's
Oh
crazy
yeah.
stuff
Oh yeah.
that I laugh about now. And then we kind of started playing in the wildlife thing. That was the first time we tried it. We killed it very soon after that because I was just like, yeah, we don't know wildlife. I'm not doing that. And then we became all female for a period of time for
Oh
like
really?
at least a year. There were 6 of us. Not intentional, it just kind of occurred. And so I had hired a couple of female technicians. Amber's still with me. She's my ops manager, and she runs my field ops. And then my daughter Taylor came on around that time, yeah, as well. She was like 17, coming in after high school, like after school, and running the office. Taylor single-handedly took us to 1 million running the office by herself at like 17 years old, which is wild.
So I definitely did want to touch on the family run aspect because you have your family involved, and a lot of people will tell you, don't be involved in business with family and all that stuff. But it feels like you have definitely made that work, and it seems like you've built a great culture. I've gotten to know Ian very well. I've gotten to know Taylor a little bit, and Tony, and it really feels like you guys have a full blown, family involvement in this thing, and that's incredible. But I want to just kind of backtrack just for a moment about this
Sure.
all girl team that you had. because that's an interesting one, and I've seen a couple of companies out there that are actually trying to do that specifically. You kind of just sounds like you just fell into it.
Yeah.
But was there any notable difference to the dynamic? Did you see anything? Was there anything that you took away from that maybe gave you a leg up, or was there any drawbacks to that you found over time?
It was great. It was great marketing, right?
Mhm.
Is to see like because it was just weird, like so
Yeah,
it's like we to see six women that are like marketing a pest control company is just kind of weird in and of itself. So that was first and foremost, and then we would do these like she means business campaigns. Like they
oh
had
no,
like these
that's
things in
adorable.
our town that you'd write articles, and I got so many phone calls which I did not expect because like they're like, oh, do this bio and write about it, and I did, and then they would call and they would like ask for me, and like they would want to work with us specifically because of that, which I just was like, that's just so interesting. That's like such an
Right.
interesting thing. But if you think about it, like think about the people a lot of times who are home with their kids during the day, like, and so in a lot of ways, like I think they just felt more, comfortable that
Mhm.
you got female technicians and that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, so there definitely was some like good juju that was happening through that.
Yeah, I want to say, and I don't know the exact accuracy of this, but I do want to say that it's like the majority of inbound calls are prompted by the ladies of the house, right?
Sure.
And you hear that trope of like the guy, it's like, I'll get to it myself, honey. And it's like, well, you haven't got to it for 2 months, like I'm hiring someone, whether that be the refrigerator break in or, whatever, right? And so, but maybe that does open up an opportunity for a relatability and a connection, maybe an approach that comes off, like you said, a little bit safer, that kind of fear element that might be there when you just have some random man entering your house, and as well as just kind of a spirit of empathy because it's like, hey, I understand your situation, like you said, your children, like this is going to be totally safe around you and them and your pets and stuff, and so. I definitely can see how it can be fruitful, and there's definitely a lot of like I said, there's a couple of companies I know that are trying it out, and I hope them a ton of success. Are you in the Ladies of Pest Control? I think that's ran by the MPMA.
Yep. I'm in the women in pest control,
Women in Pest Control.
with yep. And then I'm also in the whichever the other one is, the women in pest control. There's like the MPMA one, and then there's like another that's just like the women in pest control. And so we have both.
Okay, and do you do like any events for that, or are you kind of do you ever have like any speaking positions, or are you just a audience member, or how does that work?
So for women in pest, which is not the NPMA one, Amber, my ops manager, won female technician of the year. I think it was, yep, I think it was last year. And so I've kind of been like, that's kind of her place that she frequents and visits and that kind of stuff. And so I'm not as involved with it as she is. She's a representative for them for the state of Michigan. And so I haven't really gotten too much into that. I won the award at the NPMA one a couple of years ago with my girlfriend Sky out of New Orleans, and we went to Charleston and had a fantastic time at Hotel Heaven, and just like we had a great time. So yeah, we definitely enjoyed winning the award and getting to celebrate that.
Doing some of the formal events. I really look forward to getting involved more in the association and the trade events and stuff like that. I've been a technician for 10 years, and so I definitely feel like if your nose has been to the baseboard for such a long period of time, at some point you really should start to grow your wings and get to know people, get your name and face out there. So massive encouragement to anybody out there who hasn't been or attended any of those kind of events. You definitely should. Whether you're a lady, and you can find a specific group that kind of honors this work that y'all are doing, or they have a bunch of different little divisions as well, like you said,
Oh my
wildlife,
God,
termites, and everything in
so
between.
many. Yeah.
So to circle back to the family business aspect of it, so this is your business though. You started this. You didn't have any family involved at the beginning. It was just you and your investor, and I'm sure that probably helped to create some good, respectful boundaries that a lot of people who talk about, getting involved in business with their family, maybe those elements weren't there. But talk about some of the positive things that have come about. I mean, it sounds like you must have been an incredibly proud mother when your daughter's helping you run this $1 million empire, at 17 years old. It's not even 18 yet. So
Right.
what have been some of like has that what has that led to as far as like maybe having someone you can turn to in confidence or anything like that?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, Taylor, first of all, is the yin to my yang because she is the opposite personality style to me. And so I don't know if you know anything about like the disc profiles, but I am an I, which is like a people person, and I'm gregarious and outgoing. And she's what's called a C, which is like a controller, and she likes tasks and boxes and like, you know, and so she definitely keeps me grounded. And
Okay.
I'm the clouds, she's the dirt, I say,
Right,
like
right, right. That's
yeah.
awesome.
So she would say that she's reality and I'm fantasy land. That's what she would say. But you need both. You need both of those components. And so yeah, she's been instrumental and fantastic. And then we joke that Tony ruined everything because what ended up happening is we had this all female company, and Tony ended up like deciding like, you guys are doing this looks really fun, I kind of want to be involved, like. And so full disclosure, both of them when they first came to me with this idea, I was like, absolutely not happening, no, we're not doing that, like, because I love you guys, and I had just come off of a really bad situation with some like really good lifelong friends of mine, and I just was like a little bit terrified that, like, I was like, you can't fire your family, like, I mean, that's,
Right.
like, I don't want to ruin these relationships. And so I basically kind of made a decision. I still remember this to this day, like sitting out in my backyard and like thinking it through and being like, if we decide to do this, we're like all in, like this, like it's the way it's going to be, right? Like, I'm not going to be upset with them every day. I'm not going to be like, we're not going to have drama, and we're not going to have like, if we decide to do this, we're just going to get along, like, and we're going to like fight it out if we have to, but
Right.
we're not going to live in what, like, what's the right word, discontent or whatever. um and so Tony ended up coming along, and he actually brought his best friend from childhood with him. And so him and Chris actually started our wildlife for the second time that actually worked. So that was that's a whole nother story. But so they came along, and they kind of added this element that we didn't have because we were all female, and doing this thing. And so again, I'm a huge advocate. Females can do everything. We could do everything. But there was an element of like, hey, can you carry the ladder? Or, like things like that were just kind of nice,
Right, right,
And
right.
so they kind of came in and did some of like the heavy lifting. And so we did that for a little while. It was us and them. And then against I'm going to tell this story. I think you're on the call, but then Taylor was absolutely adamant that we were not hiring Ian. Like, and Tony went behind her back and like decided that, like, I know, right? That he was like, well, I'm hiring Ian. And he went to like our HR person at the time and was like, I want to hire Ian. And she was like, yeah, let's do that. And the two of them like conspired and like hired Ian against Taylor's, desires. And so like kind of in the same way, like where we just were like, okay, well, like, cause they were not married at the time, they were dating at the time. He did live with us. So there was that, like all four of us lived together. So we lived together and worked together. And so then Ian came on as well. And so yeah, it's been great. And those are my like actual like immediate family members. But
Right.
like I said, Amber, who works for me, is basically my family, and her cousin and her nephew and my nephew, and all of their little buddy, like it's like we're this big we have this big network now of like somebody's related to somebody somewhere, right?
Right,
Like,
right.
and so that's, yeah, that's kind of how it's going.
But you know what though, in so many ways that can be like such a dream, right? To
Yeah.
have, a venture that your entire community can rally behind, right? It starts with your family, and it's kind of that whole adage of like, get your room in order, then get your family in order, and then get your help to get your community in order, right? And so you've done something incredible there because you've provided an opportunity for all of them, and you continue to be able to provide more and more opportunity as your business grows, and so that's incredible. But I did want to kind of talk a little bit about your Lead People Manage Stuff program, because this is a creation of you and Taylor's, right? So is this yours? So whereas the pest control company was kind of you, and then they get brought in as the ball is rolling, this is kind of a whole new thing. So tell me a little bit about what the program is, and
Yep.
and what's going on there. What are you doing? What is your goal there? And we'll talk a little bit about how you got that started with Taylor.
Yeah, so this was actually Taylor's idea, because Taylor is not in pest control, right? And she was like, I kind of want to do something else, right? And so I have an event planning background, and kind of what you were talking about before. We really love pest control events. Like if you start going to these events, it's like addictive because you start meeting just like the most incredible people you've met in your whole life. And so like we went to Paul Bello to PJB, right? And we started going to that. Now we like never miss a PJB. Like we're always there. And like we've met this like tremendous network of people who are just the most awesome people you could ever meet. And so we kind of got addicted to this, and we started talking like we really like this, like pest control is cool and like whatever. And so all we started this originally kind of with we were doing events like in our town, right? Like where we would put things on. And then also this really started because we were putting on events for our staff. And so we were
Right.
doing like soft skill workshops, because kind of like what you were talking about with these are our family, these are our people. Well, they need to develop all these skill sets, like we got all this professional development stuff, and we got to teach them all these different things, because being a pest control technician is like being 12 things at once. Like you're a technician, you're a salesperson, you're a record keeper, I mean, like the
You even have
communicator,
to
like
have a bit of idea of like construction and home, yeah, home maintenance and
social
stuff. Yeah,
worker, like
yeah,
I mean, like
social
all
worker.
all the things. So you have to be like all this whole package in to be successful in pest control. So that's really how we started. So we started putting on, we would hire people in the community and they would teach classes, and we would sell tickets. And then one of our coaches, Alan Foyer out of New Mexico, he is who I hired initially, because when we grew so fast, I all of a sudden I had 6 people who don't know anything about pest control calling me from the field, because I'm in the office and they're calling me like, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do
Right,
this? And I'm
right.
realizing like this is not sustainable, right? Like, because I'm like trying to answer the phones and schedule, and I'm trying to explain to them how to do treatments. And so I called Alan. I actually put up a Facebook post like randomly, and I was just like, I need help, like, and he puts his phone number, and he was like, call me. And I spent like an hour and a half on the phone with this guy in New Mexico who's like, oh, giving me feedback, which is the best thing about the pest control industry. Like, this happens all the time. You literally can just talk to somebody across the country. People will help you. It's so crazy. And
Yes.
so he sells these SOP packages. And so for anybody who's starting a business, this was really instrumental for us. It was a couple $1,000s, and we bought all of his SOPs. And he's just fantastic. He does a master class for pest control. He's part of our Lead People Manage stuff. So anyway, he was instrumental in helping us set up the structure. Like we had the people, we had the momentum, we had the energy, but we had no structure. And so he came in and we bought his SOP package, and we started to learn like, okay, this is how you have SOPs for every single thing. And then he was doing leadership classes for us. So he started meeting with me and Amber weekly. We would have leadership discussions, and he was like teaching us how to structure the company and how to lead the technicians and how to do truck checks and how to have tables of equipment and how to, you name it, all these things that we just didn't understand, inventory and all these things. And so we followed his process. And so when we started doing the Lead People Manage stuff, because our business is actually called Hive Mind Consulting, there are
Nice.
Taylor and I's businesses, but the thing we do with Alan is Lead People Manage stuff. And so we started talking to him, and we were like, hey, we have this idea, we want to do these leadership, because I sincerely believe that that's just like a lost thing, and it's really difficult if you're growing really fast to have these leadership structures. And so he was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it." And so we just started like putting these classes across the country, which again is one of those like naive weird things. Like the first one we did was in Denver. Like we just randomly were like, we're going to go to Denver, we're going to go to Chicago, we're going to go to Texas, and we just started like renting a hotel and then hoping people would buy tickets, right? Like and they did, which was
I was
great.
gonna say, how'd it go for the very first one?
Well, we had like 25 people in Denver. um
Dang,
it was
crowd.
fantastic. The This is a little side story, but like a couple months before this, I was at Purdue University for their winter conference, and
Hmm.
I had my eye came out of the socket during one of the sessions, and I got rushed to the emergency room, and kind of like months later, I find out that I've got a tumor. I've got a tumor between my
Oh my
eye and
goodness.
my brain. Thank God it was benign. It was just they just had to remove it so that it wouldn't push on my eye.
Oh, okay, I was gonna
And
say,
so
holy
it was
cow.
everything ended up being fine. It ended up being okay. But this surgery happened like a month before our first Lead People Manage stuff. And it was in Denver and I couldn't fly. And so I was talking to the surgeon and I was like, but can I go? And they were like, I mean, you can't fly, but I'm like, I know, but like, can I go? Like, and I can get there. And they're like, yeah, okay. And Taylor's just like, Mom, you're ridiculous. Like, and I'm like, no, we have this event. Like, I'm going. I'm gonna be off anyway. I'm on recovery. Like, I'm going. And so I get on a train, take 2 days to get to Denver. I still have the patch on my eye, and we ran the first Lead People Manage stuff. So
Well, it sounds like you're gonna be a big fan of like a travel trailer or a motorhome with all the jet setting and traveling that you're gonna be doing.
exactly,
Holy cow.
exactly. Yeah.
So, okay, so that was the first one. What's your next upcoming event? Where is it at? And tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, the next one is in Aurora, Texas, right outside of Dallas. Are you in Texas?
I am in Texas, and I'm gonna try and go to that.
You should definitely
I
come.
will be
Okay,
going
so
to that.
like
Let me say, give it that try. I will
yes,
be
you
going
will
to
be
that.
there.
I will be
You will
there.
be there. Okay. So let me tell you, every single one of these gets better. This is series 6 or 7. I can't remember. 6 or 7. I think it's 6. Oh no, it's 7 because 6 was in New Orleans. And so we are going to be doing tactical and practical workshops, and we're going to split by division. So there's going to be admin, operations, and sales. And we have different people who are teaching in each one of these breakout groups. And so we're going to do some combined sessions and then we're going to break off and we're going to go work. So we're going to like actually do, Alan's going to teach how to build classes, pest control classes. So that's what he's going to teach because that's what he does and that's his specialty. And then Sky is going to take the admin side and we're going to dive into like scheduling and route optimizing and onboarding for CSRs and that kind of stuff. And then we're the folks from Smarter Launch are going to do some sales courses, and we're going to build sales scripts, and we're going to like build follow up processes and these types of things. And so it's going to be like a really hands on workshop in first like the mindset around these things, but then when you go home, you'll actually have like the thing that you can take with you and then like put into action. So
So, something that touches kind of all three of those categories is software, right? Software can be so important to both the admin side, the sales side, and of course, even just your operations and even your technicians are going to have their interactions with it. So, what software has been? Have you trialed multiple softwares? Did you start with one and you just kind of stuck with it the whole time and it scaled with you? What has that situation been like? Because I know there's a bunch of them out there. They're all integrating AI tools and all kinds of cool stuff out there. But what's your fan favorite? Don't feel it's okay to shout out your own.
I'm like, you're gonna get me in trouble here. Okay, so um, I started at my prior company with PestPack. That's how we started, and pretty much if my old boss did it, I did exactly the opposite. So I went with Gorilla Desk when we started Pest Pros. Love Gorilla Desk, by the way. It's absolutely fantastic. We just this year moved over to what's called Evolve,
Okay,
which
yep.
is like enterprise software. And yeah, I moved because I really felt like I was worried that we were getting too big, right? It was like some of the functions that we had, and we just didn't have really great access to reporting. And like, I'm in a mastermind with a bunch of other pest control owners, and we would go to mastermind, and everybody else had access to all these reports, and they could pull in data and pull information, and I would just be like, I cannot get it. Like it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in Gorilla Desk, you know. And so,
Mm,
so then I got a sales coach who kind of did the same thing with me. Like she was like, "Well, let's pull this out," and I'm like, "Yeah, you can't really get it." And so we would have to do all this work to like get spreadsheets out, and then whatever. So at any rate, we ended up switching over to Evolve, um, and then I was like, I probably could have kept Gorilla Desk and just hired a couple more people the same way now that I'm doing with Evolve. I do get a little bit better reporting, but Gorilla Desk had some like really great features. Oh, the other thing is field routes. 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, Taylor tried to switch over to field routes. She had headed up that one, and we went through all the integration, and then the day of, they like ghosted us. And it was all imported wrong, and so
uh,
we were not able to use it, so we like retracted and just went right back to Gorilla Desk because we were just like, oh my gosh, it was April. We were like, this is crazy, we can't do this. We went right back to Gorilla Desk because we just didn't know any better. Come to find out, now that we went through it again with Evolve, we just found out that you just have to touch every single thing. Like you just have to fix it like as you're
right.
going. Like had we known that, we probably could have done that with field routes. So here's my an objective, like overall thing. Personally, I wish field routes would have worked because I actually think that was the happy medium between all of the different ones. Just and kind of same thing, like would have been nice if we would have started with that and kind of had it. And so I think, but at the end of the day, I think the truth of the matter is it's all trade-offs. And so
Yep.
they all have great features and they just have different things that function. And then once you figure out how the function works, you kind of go with that. Because the thing I underestimated when we moved is we already had all our functions figured out. And now we had now have to like redo all of our functions, and so that was crazy. And then I can go into like the 8 other softwares we have because we have like all these other softwares that complement it too, which are
Oh,
great.
really?
But
So many of these softwares are trying to tout as like a one-stop shop, everything's included, billing, routing, all this stuff. So, do you find it better to have the kind of complementary softwares? Tell me a little bit about that. What is some of the stuff that you feel like is necessary to help complement those systems?
yeah, so we have Voice for Pest, which is our phone system, whereas Gorilla Desk has the voice over IP, and so they're trying to put that in. And then we have Smarter Launch, which I absolutely recommend. Love Smarter Launch. It took a lot to get it going, but I did a demo with them in Boston at Pest World Boston. I like did a demo, and like halfway through, I just like took out my credit card and I was like, "Here."
Take my money. So, what is Smarter Launch? Tell me, since they're a partner of yours too, as well. Give a little plug for them. What do they do? What is their service?
It's proposal software, and so it houses everything. It's just fabulous. It's like you go in there, the proposals are beautiful, they can be signed, you get all this reporting, you get dashboards, it integrates with your CRM, so it'll put the estimates right in there, so it's not like a secondary software, which is great. And then you also, if you have like financing, there's like a button that your client can push to get financing. I mean, it just has all these great features. And like because we do pest and wildlife, we have a lot of contracts and a lot of language. And so it was like I couldn't get all that onto a service ticket.
So when I worked at Terminix, that was one of the things that they were rolling out was like a in-house financing partner or whatever. Do you feel like do you use a finance partner? Do you have a pretty high demand for that? I know like termite work, exclusion work, remediation, insulation, that kind of stuff can be pretty pricey. Was that a game changer for you having access to that? And for people who maybe are operating without any kind of finance option, like where would you point them at? Like what, how do you
Yeah,
integrate that in? What's that look like?
We've tried a couple. Again, I think you have to have a tailor to make this work, but she did all the she's my task person, so she did all the heavy lifting behind all of this and filling all of the forms and getting it all going. But we tried Green Sky and we weren't super happy with that one. So now we're with Wise Tech. And honestly, I wish my guys would sell more of it. It's like the thing because like price is just a factor for people. So it's like if you can just remove that, it's such an easy way um, to do it. So yeah, we do mostly financing for big wildlife exclusion restoration stuff, but we do have people like we had one the other day that was like for 500 and some dollars, and they were like, "Can we do the financing?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, yeah, like you can,
Give it a
you know."
shot, right?
Yeah, there's fees like you have to pay, like there is like a fee that you have to pay, but sure, why not? So yeah, that's a definite option. The other things that we use are Pest AI. Fabulous. Love Pest AI.
Heard a lot
Yeah,
of
no,
good things about it.
it's so great. And we had used one of the other ones like Same Day or something, and we had that, and I was literally like, because like it answered the phone and it was like, sorry, we don't do bears, and I was like, and this was like really early on. So I was like, no, we're not doing any more of this AI stuff. But then Tony talked me into trying again, and we did the Pest AI one, and it's so fabulous. It does so many things for us and is like just always working. And then we use bid clips on our website, and bid clips runs all night. And so we'll wake up in the morning and have like six assigned estimates from people because it just like it will give people pricing. It's like Amazon for pest control, and they can just buy it and pay for it. And so
I've
that's
never even heard of that.
awesome. Works great.
That's incredible.
Was it?
I've never even heard of that. I didn't know that that was even a type of software.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So if somebody's up at like 3 in the morning and goes to our website, they can literally be like, I want to buy this package, and they can pay for it. And then in the morning, the office just reaches out to them and gets it on the schedule. So yeah, it works great. And then I'm trying to think of we've got call rail that figures out where all of our leads come from. So it's like when the phone is ringing, it's like this one's from Google and this one's from this and this one's from this, and it kind of tracks those things. Which the bigger you get, like, and the more pieces and components there are, the more important all this tracking becomes because it's like you can spend a lot of money,
Yep.
and so I think those are
Those are the
most of the
important
softwares. We
ones.
tried Dub for a while, the video platform, and that was really cool. But now our you can like make videos while you're out being a technician, and you can be like you can walk and do a video and go like and then send it to the client. So this client can like see what you did, which is super cool. But our new software, actually, you can do that right in the software. Applause, thank you. Yep, they're,
Applause.
they're helping me
Yes.
out over here. Applause is the best thing ever. Like, if I could like scream it from the rooftops for people, because I thought it was just a tipping app. Like I was like, okay. And come to find out, we've got like over 1,000 views or 1,000 reviews. Like we get dozens a day from Applause, and it's a little bit pricey, so like it can scare people off, but it is so fantastic. And then it'll give you net promoter scores on your technicians, and so like you can do all, and they tip, and it has all these different features. So Applause is great too.
So, one of our sponsors, Swarm Marketing, they're a big advocate of Applause. I believe Applause actually sponsors them, funny enough. And
Okay.
I see Wyatt posts quite often about, and he does some podcast interviews with some of the guys from there. So, if you're interested in Applause, y'all should go check out that content. It is really, really good. But it's awesome to see that, they're getting success all over the place, and that you guys are also singing their praises from the rooftops. So, tell me a little bit about that, though. What has that experience been like as far as for you in your business? Do you feel like you said you get a lot of reviews from it? What does Applause do, and what is it? How is it helpful for you?
Yeah, so it puts like a widget in the invoice, and then it texts the client after service, and it says, would you like to leave a review, right? So it's kind of prompting that. And Taylor would be able to explain this better, but it's like it'll ask them, do you want to tip your technician? And they'll say, if and it'll say like, well, if you leave a review, we will tip your technician for you, right? And
Oh
so like
wow.
yeah, so it kind of entices people first of all, to tip the technician, second of all, to leave the review, and then we have the option where we can program it. You can program it however you want to, but we program it so it's like if you leave a review, we will tip the technician for you. So people feel like, well, I want to do something good for the technician. And then we also have Bird Eye, and Bird Eye posts them directly to our Facebook page. So as soon as
Okay.
someone puts a review on, it goes straight onto our Facebook page. So it was disabled when we switched softwares for like a month. I did not realize how great this thing was for morale. Like having a dozen people tell you how great you are like every single day is such a great morale booster for the
Yes.
text, for us. It's like this fantastic thing. And then also we get net promoter scores. So if something happens, we know like like because they'll if we get a net promoter score like under 5 and then they'll give us a reason, we're like, uh-oh, whereas you probably wouldn't know that. They probably wouldn't tell you that, right? Like if you hadn't asked specifically, because a lot of them are like kind of moderate. They're not like really big problems. They're just kind of like mediocre. And so like it allows us to catch issues a lot faster.
Is that connected in any way to your Google? I know you were saying that your Google is kind of your one of your two big pillars for marketing. Does it so do the reviews also go from the Facebook to the Google as well?
Yeah, they actually go to Google initially, and then Bird Eye will post them to Facebook. But yeah, so like reviews on Google are a big deal because
Yes.
that's how you're put at the top, and so it really has helped us to elevate to be at the top of Google because we've gotten so many.
So I've worked with field routes, pest routes for a little while, and they had um, a review system, but it was all internal. So everything that you got, it was like people could see it, but that wasn't really helping your reach as far as
Yeah.
like your internet awareness and your domain authority and stuff like that. So I didn't know that. So like I said, I've heard of Applause. I'm kind of familiar with it, but I haven't had actually anybody sit down and kind of explain it to me. So that's pretty incredible, and that's really powerful software, especially like you said, if you're a fleshling business, you're just starting off. That 0 to 50 reviews is really hard for people to get past and get over. And if you have something that's helping you automate that and helping those get prompted in, do you know how many Google reviews you guys currently have?
Yeah, like almost a
After,
thousand. Yeah.
shoo,
Right.
oh yeah,
We got like hundreds within the first month. And I was the same as you. Had heard of Applause, and people kept talking about its tipping features, and I would just be like, that's cool. I just really didn't real nobody was telling me like it's for review. You want the Google reviews. And so then
right.
when I did it, I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then here's the thing is like I've recommended this to other people, and like I guess everybody doesn't get the same results, like because I think for us, especially because we had so many customers at that point, like it was such an immediate thing because we had thousands of services, and so like it was like we were getting like just multiples a day.
That's such a powerful story because you hear a lot of people are kind of afraid to try out new things or try out new softwares, or it seems like everybody's always trying to solicit you something, especially when you like first buy a house, you first open a business, whatever. It can feel like it can be
Yeah.
kind of difficult to kind of sift through the wheat, the chaff, to find the wheat there. And so you're giving out some little gold nuggets here, and I hope that the audience is able to kind of pick up on some of this stuff because your story is incredibly inspirational, and what you guys have been able to do in a relatively short period of time is absolutely incredible. Just kind of for frame reference, the company that I work for, I've been working for 10 years, and they started in 1968. When I came on in 2015, they had 15 technicians. Right, so from
Okay,
the
yeah.
1960s to the mid teens of the 20 teens, and you guys did that in 4 years, right? So just to kind of give
Right.
the scale differences of having to do it the old school way with the limited, and having this new school with all the technology and with all of the networking and the opportunities that are available now. It really is incredible, and I have to applaud you for it. I have to applaud your whole family. You guys are doing an incredible thing. I love y'all's branding. If you haven't got a chance to check out Pest Pros in Michigan, the black and green, it is definitely a favorite. It seems like it's kind of coming up in the pest industry. I see a couple people out there with it now, but it's so cool, and you guys really are. just absolutely killing it. So we are kind of getting a little bit closer to the end here. I just wanted to ask you: is there anybody that you can think of that you'd like to shout out for your journey, and maybe a mentor or somebody that was behind the scenes that helped kind of pat you on the back or lift you up when you were down? I know you mentioned Alan and some of the others, but is there anybody else that you just really feel like is important in this industry or has contributed a lot?
My gosh. It's like standing on the shoulder of giants, right? I mean, like this industry is just full of fantastic people. And so, like I said, Paul Bello, instrumental, Alan Foyer, absolutely instrumental. Sky Lajani is one of my absolute favorite people. I actually started another business with her. We'll have to talk about that another day, but we started a mastermind business recently. And she is just a fantastic, she's running like a $10 million operation out of New Orleans,
Holy cow!
and just super inspirational. And then everybody in my mastermind group, because I was thinking as you were talking, and I was thinking, the secret really is get around people who are doing what you want to do and spend time with them because it changes your mind. It like changes like the first time I met Matt Eichmann. I don't know if you know who Matt Eichmann is out of Minneapolis, but I met him down in Florida at PJB, and he was running like a multi-million dollar wildlife company, right? And at the time we were only a couple $100,000, and he was in Minneapolis, and I'm in Michigan, and I'm
Right,
thinking, so you can do that in the north. Yeah,
right,
like
right,
you can do that. And so I think like that, yeah, like just getting around these incredible people, and thank God for the forums like this community. Like Ian loves this community so much. I hear more about this than anything else. He loves it. He talks about it, you guys, all the time. And so this is a great one. And then like just like all the Facebook groups that we have, and like if you go on there and ask people for help and ask questions, like people are just willing. Like it's just crazy where like I'm talking to these people who like run multi-million dollar businesses who are just like answering my questions on Facebook. Like that's crazy, you know?
right. No, I have to absolutely agree. One of the best things about having started my journey in networking is I've only been doing License to Kill for I guess this is now the seventh month, right? So it's all relatively new, but the industry isn't that large. There's not millions and millions of pest control people. There's, I think like 80,000 to 100,000 of us total. And that's like technicians, trainees, like that's everybody, right? And so you talk about the number of people who actually own businesses or the number of people who, are exceptionally skilled technicians or rodentologists or, entomologists. There's not that many. And the beauty is that they are all so reachable and they are so accessible. And a lot of them are just a quick, hey, could you help me out with this kind of thing? And I've had several conversations where people have said, they were in a different industry and they were so used to this kind of cutthroat, competitive, everything's all about, and just can't let anybody know what you're doing kind of thing. And because all of our markets are so spread apart. It's like what you're doing in Michigan has really no competitive problem with, what we're doing down here in Houston, but we can learn so much from each other. And there's just an open dialogue that exists in this industry. And again, just really want to encourage everybody. It's like, get out there, get your name out there, wave at people, talk to them, say hi, because it's incredibly powerful and it's helped me out so much. That again, I can't thank enough to my people who've been helping me out. It sounds like you had an incredible network as well, and I'm looking forward to getting to meet them, especially Paul and Alan and some of these other huge names out there. If there was one person that you could recommend to come and on the podcast and get interviewed next, if there was one person you say like Marcus, you just gotta talk to this person, who is that going to be?
I can't do one. It has to be all three because like I can't do one because all three of them are just like equally fantastic. And so I would say those three people that I just mentioned. Paul Bello is just a freaking legend. So like, like he's hilarious to talk to. Got great stories. He's a great teacher. Alan's just a badass, like Marine, And so, and again, like Sky is just, if you spend 5 minutes with her, you're going to be lit up to like go start six businesses is what's going to happen, like, so like these are just like powerful powerhouse people. And yeah, so those would be my recommendations for sure.
Well, I've definitely heard of the first two, but I've not yet heard of Sky. So,
Well, if you come in November, you will meet her because she will be teaching. So like that'll be a perfect introduction. Or we do calls on Friday mornings too. And I know you're in there, so you can always jump on. We
Yeah.
do our pest control master class every Friday morning, and then we do a leadership class. So yeah, join us anytime.
Yeah. Hey, plug it real quick. What's the name of your group? Is that a part of the Hive Mind Consulting?
Yeah, it's lead people manage stuff. This is part
Oh,
of lead
yep.
people manage stuff.
Okay.
And so you can join the community, and it's a $200 subscription per company. You can have as many people as you want from your company. And at 7 a.m. Eastern, we do pest control masterclass with Alan. Alan teaches, Paul teaches sometimes too. And then we do that from 7 to 8 with the technicians. Right now, Alan's really into the ACE prep stuff, and so we're doing a lot of ACE prepping. And then from 8 until 9, we do like leadership and management for like leadership teams. So it's like anybody who's interested in leadership, but we had 2 hours every Friday morning. So
That is really good advice. I'm actually studying for my ACE right now. That was, I think, the only thing that we didn't really get a chance to touch on was the fact that you are an ACE and you went out and you
I
became an
am
associate certified entomologist, or is that accredited certified entomologist? Anyway,
associate. Yep,
yeah, associate
associate. Yep.
certified entomologist, and that's such an incredible title. And I know you had to work hard to get that. I know, like I said, I'm in the process of studying for it, and it is pretty intensive. But I definitely think it's a badge of honor. It's a credential that you definitely get to attach to the end of your name. And so I just want to give you a round of applause for getting that, and teaching so many people, and having people like Alan that you can help to put together these prep study classes with and stuff. Because I'm a big believer in raising the bar, and helping people to become better at their job, helping to really teach that this is a career. This is not just a 9 to 5. It's not something you just go and collect a paycheck on. This is something you can really level up your game with. And there's so many different, PCQI and SQF, and there's all these kind of like credentials and certifications that you can get. And so, I love that you're out there and you're teaching that, you're promoting it, and you're a big advocate for it. We definitely are too. We got a comment here saying this is the best job. That's right. It sure is. I absolutely love this job. And
I was
people.
just I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, so many people find it as their second career. It's like they go out, they do a different job, and they come back, and they're like, "This is the coolest thing I ever knew about."
I was literally I had my whole team in this week, and I was literally telling them, like, when I got into this, I was making $9 an hour. Like, I took my first, like my first office job was like $9 an hour. And right. And I was telling them, this is a marketable trade. Like, this will change your life. Like,
Yes.
that's what I was trying to get across to them. Like, this is not a job. Like, this is a career track. Like you can do you get into this and you can go anywhere you want to go. Like, you want to be
Yes.
in sales, you want to be in leadership, you want to own a company, you want to go be a sales rep, you want to be an entomologist. I mean, like, the opportunities are endless. And like, I just had no idea that you could do this. Like, it's fantastic. Yeah.
And it's in need nationwide. And I mean, once you get your
Recession proof.
credentials, it's recession proof. And you can pick your choice of whatever city you want to live in America, and you'll have pretty much a guaranteed job the day you step foot there. So, absolutely love this industry. Absolutely love this career, and we love that people like you are a part of it. Well, Miss
Thank you.
Maria, we actually right here hitting the 1 hour mark. I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being a part of the group, for taking your
Of
time
course.
and just sharing your story with us today. We really are, proud of everything that you and Taylor and Ian and Tony and all of you guys are putting together. We're cheering you on, and we look forward
Thank
to
you.
being a part of the Lead People Manage Stuff program and to watch that chapter grow into the next thing. I definitely consider you a leader in this industry, so I appreciate you for the work that you've put in. It's definitely paid off, and I think you're an incredible person, and the team you've put together is incredible. So thank you again, and shout out to the sponsors for License to Kill. Thank you guys for supporting us, helping us get out here and meet and shake hands with people. We've got Pest Patrol, SteriFab, Nisus, and the Swarm Marketing crew. So we've got some people that are behind us, and they're helping to level up everybody's dream. So thank you guys. God bless them.
Fantastic.
Thanks for tuning into the License to Kill podcast. We hope you found today's episode helpful, informative, and engaging. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe to your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review. It really helps us to reach more listeners like you. Have a question or a topic that you'd like us to cover in a future episode? Connect with us through our Facebook, YouTube, and most importantly, our Discord. Until next time, this is your host, Marcus, reminding you to stay sharp, stay legendary, stay connected.